everyone, welcome back to this channel, and today I'm going to be talking about crazy guest experiences from my time working as a cast member at Walt Disney World. So I was a merchandise cast member last summer, the summer of 2017. I worked at Hollywood Studios in the Theatre District, and that included Frozen, Star Wars, The Muppets, a Christmas store, and Indiana Jones, and also some like general carts that we did, and basically I was around all those different areas throughout my program and throughout the summer, and I had some pretty crazy guest experiences from just about 2.5 months, so I don't even imagine how many stories people must have who worked there for years and years and years. I have seen a couple of these videos floating around in the past, so I thought it would be kind of fun to share some of my own. So the first one that I have was from my time working at Tatooine Traders, which is our Star Wars store. And basically we have this little table space in the middle, which is a build your own droid station. So there's just lots of little parts that people can use to build mini droids. They're kind of like that big, and there's one of C-3PO and also one of R2-D2 style, but you can kind of switch it up, so there's like different colours for each of them, and basically you build the body parts. You have like a body, a head, 2 arms, 2 legs, you know, that's just how it works. It's kind of like Legos, I guess. And you can be assigned to be on this station for a period of time, and basically you are responsible for making sure it's kept clean and tidy and all the body parts are sorted in colour-coded order, which is a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. But this story is not actually from when I was working on Build Your Own Droid, it's from when I was on a register shift. And a guy comes over and he wants to buy 12 of them, and he's built them all, and they're all made of different parts, different colour combinations, but I know that you're only supposed to let people buy 10 of any item at one time. But I didn't know if it will be a bit different if it was a build your own droid, because obviously it's completely customizable, so I thought I would go check with one of my coordinators. So I go in the back room and I say, this guy wants to buy 12 droids, like, is that okay? And the coordinator goes, oh, we had someone in trying to do that earlier as well. No, it's not okay, I'll come explain. So she walks out and she goes, oh my god, it's the same guy. So basically she comes over and she goes, hello sir, we spoke to you earlier, you can only buy 10 of one item, and earlier he was trying to buy like 15 of them apparently, so he just got away with the 10, and he shipped them all the way back to his hotel through our shipping service, and the guy is being like, nope, these aren't for me, they're for my wife who was with him. And she's just saying like, no, you can't be buying more than 10 of one item, because the reason we have this policy is that people try and sell the product on eBay. Especially in the Star Wars store, a lot of them are collectibles and can go for a lot of money online. So this guy, he didn't really speak English super well, but she was like, my coordinator was trying to explain to him how we can't just sell people tons and tons of a set product because of the eBay issue. And he was like, not trying to sell it on eBay. And he pulls up this picture from a website and he's trying to collect the set. And on this website is like every different possible variety of the build your own droid that you could have. And my coordinator is like, well, I've never seen that website before, we don't know anything about this kind of collecting thing, and we can't sell that to you. And the guy was just like, no, he was like starting to get really angry. He wanted to speak to like a manager and stuff, and my coordinator was like, they're gonna say the exact same thing as me. So eventually I think my coordinator just got fed up and was like, okay, you can have 10 in this transaction, but that's it, and they can be for your wife. Because effectively you could, you know, if she'd have tried to buy them, he probably would have gotten away with it. So the way it works is that you have the droid and it goes in a little case, like a plastic case, and then you snap it closed, and it kind of like breaks the seal on it to make sure that it's like ready to go when you leave the store. So the guy had just brought 12 of the plastic packets all like lined up, clumped together, and 12 of the droids. So firstly we were like, you have to put 2 back, and then my coordinator was like, okay Emily, can you start packaging them up please? So I picked one and put it in the packet and went to snap it, and the guy was like, no, I don't want it to be snapped, obviously because that means it's not going to be in mint condition, which is how people want it to be when they're selling it online and when people are buying it. But my coordinator was like, nope, you know, we can't give them to you to leave the store without them being snapped. So I go ahead and do it, and this guy, it's probably been about 20 minutes, and this guy is getting super frustrated standing there. So then my coordinator's like, okay, so you're shipping these to your hotel? And he's like, yes. And she was like, okay, so we're going to have all of your personal contact information on that form, and we can trace it to see if anything funny's been done about it. So yep, all good. And she's keeping like the most Disney smile on this whole time, and the guy is just fuming inside. So in the end he did get his 10 droids, so effectively he had 20. I don't know if he tried to come back at all another time. I mean, I never saw him, but he ended up with 20 droids, so it wasn't the full set he was looking for, wasn't all the droids he was looking for. But yeah, it's funny what people try and get away with when they're in Star Wars. I didn't realise just how crazy the fans can be with how much money they will spend, but that is just one example of people trying to buy stuff for the purposes of reselling online, and they get some frustrating outcomes when they try and do that. So still in the Star Wars store, Tatooine, moving on, there was another station which is called Build Your Own Lightsaber, and effectively this guides you through the process of building a lightsaber. You start with your handle, and then you're going to choose a laser, and then you start like building the parts to attach onto the hilt part, so it's like completely customizable. And the point of this is that, you know, little kids or adults can completely customize their own for theirs or a character. So they queue up outside and they get in and they get to do the whole process, and it's super fun. But one time this woman just came in and she was being super snappy because she'd been waiting, I guess, a long time. She was annoyed, and then her little kid was probably like 2, and you could tell he was really excited. But then I started trying to show him like how to be doing it, and she was like, "Can this go any faster?" And I was like, okay. So I kind of was like, "Come on, buddy, so, you know, what colour do you want?" And he selected it, and he wanted green, I think. And then the mum was like, no, he won't want green, he has having blue. And I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure he wants green, but she was like, nope. So I had her choice, and then we started getting to the part where we were building it, and it's kind of complicated in that we have different parts that are different sizes. So it kind of all has to add up to, I think, a total of 7. Like if you had 7 singles, then it would all add up. But obviously there are some parts that are 3, some are 2. So for a little kid it can take a little bit of time to get the order that they like and the right amount of parts. So a couple pieces into this, the woman's just not having it. She's like, "Can you just do it for him?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, he's supposed to be choosing the parts himself." She was like, "No, can you just build it for me?" So I kind of snapped something into place. And then I'm like, "Yeah, okay, here you go." And then the kid has it, the mum stands back and is like, "Take a photo." And the kid is just like clueless, like he's 2, he doesn't really have a clue what he's doing. So she takes tons of photos of him with like the grumpiest expression on her face. And then I was like, "Oh, okay, you're all set." And she was like, "Great." And she didn't even like say thank you, whatever, badges out. And then I'm serving the next guest, and then I turn around and the lightsaber's just been like abandoned at the end of the Build Your Own Saber station. So the point is they have to line up because they're only going to build it if they're going to buy it. They don't want us to like waste our time. But she effectively just wanted a photo of him with a lightsaber. But yeah, it was kind of a sucky experience for the boy and for me, especially as you can have some like really lovely experiences at that station. So that's just how she wanted it to be. Another experience I had at the Build Your Own Saber station was, so let me explain. You can build a single, which has a end cap, or you can build a double, which effectively is 2 lightsabers, but they have a connector piece in the middle, so you can split them apart to make 2, but they're not like entirely complete because they've just got like an end piece that just kind of juts out. So a single lightsaber is going to cost you around $30, and a double is going to cost you around $45. So effectively, if you get the one that's $45 for kids, you've got 2. They may not be completely, complete, but you're saving like $15, so it's worth doing. However, one person came in and they had built a double in Disney Springs, but they wanted to buy just the end cap piece so that they could split them and just build, have like 2 single lightsabers. And I said, there isn't a way that we can do that. We don't sell the individual parts. You have to build a lightsaber completely. And then the guy was like, "Oh, can I just like swap this piece then that I've got for the double, the adapter one?" And I was like, it's not how it works, like, because then effectively you've got a single lightsaber, like 2 singles, for a lot cheaper than the price that they'd normally charge. So this family, they'd started out like super friendly, like, "Oh yeah, we bought it the other day, we just want to get another piece." And I was like, "No, sorry." And then it they got really angry really fast. So like the guy grabbed the piece and he was like, I'm gonna go to the register. So he barges up to one of my friends and is like, I just want to buy this piece. And she's like, I don't have a button for that, like you have to build a whole lightsaber if you want to get this piece. And he's getting so mad. Like we get a leader out and she's the same, she's like, I'm sorry, like you're gonna have to just buy a whole nother lightsaber. And the guy in the end is like, well, let me just buy a lightsaber whatever the price is and I'll just have this piece. So I didn't like see the end of that confrontation, but basically just kind of gives you an idea of how guests can go from super sweet to super angry really, really fast. I don't know if they got their piece in the end. I don't know if maybe they tried to steal it, but yeah, we have policies in place to avoid people trying to like pull one over. I feel like all these experiences are just of guests getting super angry. And to be honest, like the majority of the experiences that I had with guests over, some were really positive. Like I had so many good interactions and good chats and conversations and stuff, but there's just like a few that really stuck out in your mind. So yeah, I was reading my journal through the other day, which kind of prompted this video, and obviously the bad ones are going to get written down in here and also the super good ones. So I guess maybe I will do like a good video after this because there are quite a lot of like magical moments in here as well. But I thought I would start with the negatives and maybe then we'll build to the positives. So another one that I had, which was a kind of a stressful situation, was I was working in our Christmas store. It's a wonderful shop. And the way it works is it is located right opposite the Muppets dump location. So everyone files out of the theatre and they go straight into my store where I was working, or Stage 1, another store that I could have worked in, which was the Muppet store. So every like 15 minutes you get a sudden flurry of people and then it calms down again. However, on this occasion, I had a flurry of people from one show and the flurry had not gone down and then more people came in. So my store was swamped and there was actually a line. Like you never really had a line of more than 2 or 3 guests at a time in this store because it's so tiny and it's in the back of the park. But it really had built up because there were suddenly so many guests. I don't know why. So when you're in Christmas, it's a little bit stressful because you have to package up the ornaments to make sure that they're really safe. So a lot of people want them shipped to their hotel to avoid like carrying them around, taking them on rides. So we had to wrap them up, put them in boxes, and then if you're doing a shipping to a hotel, they had to fill out a form as well. So it's quite a process, which is nice when you've got just one family there. You have an extended interaction and you can really get to know them and talk about them and kind of take up some more of your day. But when there's a whole like line that's literally going out the door, it's a bit stressful. So I finally get to this one guest and I can see that they are not happy, and she practically slams the ornaments down on the register. It doesn't quite slam because they are very fragile. So she places the ornaments down quite forcefully on the register and is like, I'm trying to go to the Indiana Jones show which starts in 5 minutes, so I need this to be super quick. So I'm like, okay. Firstly, I'm thinking in my head, if Indiana Jones starts in 5 minutes, you've got at least a 2-minute walk from where you are right now to get the show, and it's probably filled right now anyway because it was like an afternoon show, so there probably wasn't going to be any space for her. But I can't just turn around to the guests and be like, well, you're not going to get in, so let me just take my time. So I start packaging up the ornaments and she is just getting really, really angry because obviously it takes some time. She has like 5 ornaments and they needed to be in separate boxes, so I'm like popping them up, going as fast as I can, and literally my hands are like shaking because there's a line forming as well behind her. And then I scan everything and I take it until the final stage that it's going to be the checkout, and she goes, well, I need them to be shipped to my resort as well. And I'm like, well, why didn't you say that to start with? Because we have to kind of like cancel what we've already scanned and get the form out and like scan everything again and have it. So I take this form out and I'm like, I'm gonna have to need you to fill this out. And she's like, I already filled out one of those at another store. And it's like, but this is a different store, it's different products, we can't just add it onto your old form because that's a different store. So she's like racing through this form to try and sort it out whilst I'm trying to package up everything at the same time, and eventually obviously like we do it, but she's like, well, I hope I don't miss the show. And then she like swipes her card and I'm trying to give her the receipt as well and she's just leaving. So yeah, it was pretty stressful. I'm guessing she didn't make the show, which probably made her even angrier than she was because I was wrapping her things as fast as I possibly could to make sure that they were protected, because I'm guessing if she'd have got to her resort and they were smashed, she would have been even angrier. But yeah, just another experience that I had with a guest not really having the level of patience that they needed. I have so many of those stories, sadly. Like one time I was in the Indiana Jones store, and again it's a situation which is one person, one register. And there was no formal line in that store. It just kind of swamps around you almost in a circle. So then I was like, oh, who's next one time? Because there was quite a lot of people, and someone puts their things down and I start scanning it, and this woman just bolts up to the register, slams her stuff down and goes, you skipped me, I'm leaving. And she was just buying like a toy sword anyway, so she slams it down, grabs her kid and barges out of the store. And I'm just there like, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't really know what to say because the guests had already left, but then like all the other guests around it was like, it's okay honey, you're fine. Like, she was just being rude, and I was just, but I think that was like my first bad guest experience. Other than that, they'd all been like kind of cheerful and sweet. So that was probably like my first, whoa, okay, people are angry at the happiest place on earth. So yeah, there was quite a lot of experiences of guests just getting impatient, but I kind of wanted to end on a nice story in a way. So this is actually from my time when I was at the park as a guest after work. So I went to Magic Kingdom, and it was my first time going by myself, and that was kind of a thing on my bucket list that I wanted to do. I wanted to go to the parks, not have anyone else with me, and just kind of like own that experience and be independent and experience them for myself. So I got a bunch of fast passes. I arrived at the park around 5 o'clock, and I went to Peter Pan, and I got in the queue, and I was just like, oh, this is gonna be super awkward. It would be like, how many? I'll be like, one. After that I totally got over it because it's so normal, and when you're a CP, like, you just take any chance you can get to go to the parks, but whatever. So I get in this line, and I don't even remember how the conversation started, but this little girl is in front and she's with her older sister and her mum, and then the girl just starts talking to me. I don't even know why, but she was just like chatting away, and then she was like, oh, where's your family? And I was like, oh, I actually work here, I'm from the UK, but I'm here for the summer. And you could see the older sister just be like, what, like you can work here? I started telling them all about the college program that she could do because she was an American, talking about the experience and how fun it is and how much I love it and where housing is, and then I started talking to the little kid even more, and she was just like fascinated that I worked in Disney World, because I guess when we're not wearing our costume, it seems like a bit crazy that a regular person can work here. So we were just chatting away, and then once we got to the front, the little girl just was like, do you want to ride with me? So the mum and the older daughter got on one boat together, and then I got on with her, and it was actually the little girl's first time at Disney World, first time on Peter Pan, and I got to share this like magical experience with her because Peter Pan is one of my favourite rides, and she was just like, like, she was so amazed by everything, and it was just such a refreshing experience because I had been on the rides quite a lot of times by this point, but to see it through the eyes of a person she was maybe like 7 years old, and she was just like fascinated by everything on that ride, and it really like renewed the magic in me in a sense of just like how amazing this place can be when you haven't been. And yeah, it was just like the perfect way to make me feel like even though I was at the parks by myself and not with my family, you're never like truly gonna be alone when you're there. I mean, there are thousands of people, but you're always going to be with other people who love Disney, who are there with their families because they love Disney and they're making their memories for the first time. And you never know, like, her sister might have gone on to do a college program at some point, or even the little girl might have. And yeah, that's just like a really cool experience I got to have. So I think I have jabbered on for long enough for one video. I have a bunch of other experiences, but I will probably share them at a later date because I don't want this video to be like an hour long. It was kind of fun just to sit and reminisce about the good and bad times in my journal. So yeah, this thing holds a lot of memories, a lot of stories, a lot of future YouTube videos, I guess. So let me know if you enjoyed this video, and maybe I'll do another, or maybe some more positive experiences, or again negative. I don't know if people want to know like the darker sides of working at Disney, because I guess a lot of controversy is popular, I don't know. But yeah, thank you for watching my video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe subscribe and you can see another one, or maybe don't, and this was just like a really boring video for you. I hope not. Another thing is I will be doing another college program this summer, so there's going to be plenty more Disney videos to come when I'm not in my bedroom in England, and I will be in Disney World again and vlogging. So there's that to look forward to as well if you want. Hopefully see you next time, and thanks for watching. Bye!